Assalamu alaikum students, your instructor Abdul Rafi here for Cambridge IGCSE A-Levels Edexcel Accounting and Mathematics. So today we are going to start talking about statistics 2. As you can see on the screen, we are going to discuss statistics 2 and the chapter number is 4 now, as already the playlist is available on other 3 chapters. So we are going to discuss about the sampling and estimation. Okay, so first discussion will be about sampling, how many concepts are there, and so we have unbiased estimates of population mean and variance. We have to talk about confidence interval as well in this chapter, but there are some basics about it which are also being tested in the past papers as well. And we have to talk about the sample mean, bar, and variance. So sample mean, x bar, mean and variance as well, confidence interval, and these things. But let's try to get started with the basics concept first, which is basically in this chapter we talk about population, which we need to understand, students, that population does not only mean people. Okay, so population can be, it's a set of group. It can be a group, large, small, or even infinite as well. So let's say that the examples of population are, we can say that number of students in a class can also be called a population. Okay, in the statistics language, that is statistics 2 A-level mathematics 9709. So population can be students in a class. It is not about only people. It can be the fishes in the lake. Okay, fishes in any lake. Okay, so it can be fishes in a lake. Similarly, if I give you other examples, fishes, it can be people aging over, some people aging over 75, people aging over 95, like this as well. It can be the cans of soft drinks produced in a factory. Okay, so this can be also called a population, cans of soft drinks produced in a factory. Okay, so cans of soft drinks produced in a factory. So this is one of the important terms that you need to understand, that what is actually population in the sampling chapter. Okay, then we come back, what we have to do. So why I have written census and the sample survey. So this is, we have talked about population, sir. Then when we talk about the next thing, we talk about census and sample survey, because in order to collect the information about a population, you will have to collect the information. This chapter basically talks about that you will have to collect information about the population. Therefore, you will need to carry out census or the sample survey. Okay, you will need to carry out census or the sample survey. So if we talk about census, it is the practical term, the common term that is used in the real English language. Census is basically that every member of the population will be surveyed in the census. Okay, so every population member will be surveyed, every population member will be surveyed in this census, which means that it is difficult and tricky to do. Okay, it is time consuming, it will be costly for the companies, for the organizations, for the mathematician. So every population member will be surveyed, so that if that what happens in the census. Okay, students, so it will be technical, it will be difficult, time consuming. That is why it is better to get accurate results by choosing a sample survey. Okay, when you choose a sample survey, it will be easy, it will not be much expensive as well, and sample survey will help you get the idea of the whole population. Okay, students, so this chapter number 4 of the statistics 2, we'll talk about the samples that we are choosing. So what are the key characteristics of the samples? Okay, that we need to understand now. So a sample should be large as well. Okay, it's not possible that sample should be small. It is not good that sample should be small. So sample should be of a good sample should be large. Okay, so a sample should be large as well. So I'll write down the key points here. A sample should be large. There should be no biases in it. Okay, so there should be no biases in it. Like you must not be influencing the people when you are doing a sample survey. You must not influence people. You must not ask such questions in which there is reluctancy to answer. You must not ask those questions in which you will favor one thing and disagreeing on the other thing. So a sample should be large, and there should be no biases in the sample as well. There should be equal probability equal chances of being selected, of being represented in the sample survey. Okay, I'll repeat my point, students. The sample should be independent, it should not be dependent on anything, and it should have complete authority, as well as it should be equal. There should be no more preference to anything, and that is what we call when we try to eliminate the biases in the sample survey. And that is why where the chapter takes place and where we are leading, why I have given you this information, because couple of questions in the exam paper will be around this way, and that is why it is lecture number 1 for sampling that we are talking about here. So what we need to understand, students, that because of these reasons, that there should be no biasness and there should be sample should be large. So we need to understand the new concept, that is basically that you are going to take a random sample. Okay, the sample survey needs to be random sample. Okay, so therefore the requirement is basically that we look for random samples. Okay, and how will we get the random samples? What will happen in the random sample, sir? It's very simple and clear. We can get an idea that the random sample will be, it will be every member of the population, every member of the population will have an equal chance of being selected. So we can write this as well. Every member should have equal chance of being selected. Okay, every member equal chance of being selected. Okay, every member is equals to equal chance of being selected, and they have all possible samples can be selected as well. Okay, so we have random sample, and then how do we do these random sampling? There are a couple of options. Okay, students, so let's understand and let's learn that as well. So there are a couple of options available for doing these random samplings. Okay, so one of them is drawing the lots. Okay, so the examples and methods how you can do the random sample is basically, sir, the first one we can say is basically the drawing lots. You have, sir, drawing lots as well. What is drawing lots? Is basically simply just the lucky draws that we have, okay, in the real life, practical life. So you can have the drawing lots, just the lucky draws. You put the names of the persons on a piece of paper, putting the names of the person on piece of paper, folding it, putting it into a container, and then just randomly taking out one at a time. So the lucky person will get selected for the being the sample. Okay, so this is not relevant. This is just for information purpose, not relevant with our statistics 2 9709. The most important one is using the random numbers. Okay, so you are going to use random numbers. Okay, for the random sample we are going to use, sir, random numbers for the random sample that we are going to do now. The random numbers we have to choose random samples, and they can be done through random number tables or calculator generated. Okay, so you can basically what you can do, students, here, let's write it down, that using random numbers, so there are random number tables as well, sir. There are random number tables as well, and there are basically, sir, there is the calculator generated numbers as well. Okay, so there are calculator will generate the random numbers for you. So I'm going to explain both of them. Let's write it down. Calculator random number generator. Okay, so we need to understand how we can choose the sample survey, the random sample, how we can choose it by using the random numbers, by drawing the lots, and that is how the random sample will come in. Hope every student is getting this. Make sure to follow and like this as well to get more videos available for you. Okay, so let's continue. So what is random number tables is basically putting the numbers, putting any numbers out of it. While how do we do it with calculator? So follow carefully. In the calculator that you have, the scientific calculator you have, students, just have to do one thing. You just have to press in the calculator random generated numbers, you have to press ran. This is an option in the calculator. On the scientific calculator, press ran, and then press is equals to. Okay, so press is equals to button. Okay, so just two-step approach. First you have to press ran, and then you have to put equals to. You will get the calculator random number generated in that. Okay, and how do we get the random number tables is basically you assign a digit. Okay, so you will be assigning a digit in the random number tables. You assign a digit to a person, to the people, or any value. Okay, so assign digits to the numbers and then take out any random numberings and make random numbers from it. Okay, so you can, the digits can be single, they can be grouped as well, and you can just give them digits. Okay, to take out the probability. So it's all about sometimes about its probability as well. So we will look into these questions as well what different types of questions can be tested on the lecture number 1, this concept number 1 of the basic understanding of sampling and estimation. Thank you. Okay students, so let's continue from where we left off from the introduction lecture, that this is basically sir concept number 1 in which we are talking about the basics of random sampling. In the sampling chapter, how do you take the random number tables? So this question is exactly about that concept, when you have to take out random number tables. Okay, so you have to take out random number tables here, and we'll discuss more questions as well. So let's have a look at this question while reading. So sir, this question is basically a topical past paper from May June 2017. It's not that old and not that recent as well. So it's May June 2017, paper 7 variant 3, and now the paper is changed, it's paper 6. Statistics S2 is paper 6 now. So let's move on and forward, and let's quickly do it. A residents association has 654 members numbered from 1 to 654. So they are trying to generate random number tables here, students, and they are telling us that a resident association has 654 members numbered from 1 to 654. The secretary wishes to send a questionnaire to a random sample of members. Definitely they can't send the questionnaires to all 654 members. That is why in order to choose the members for the sample, she uses a table of random numbers. Okay, so they are using a table of random numbers. The first line in the table is as follows. Okay, so we have the first line in the table as follows. So they are telling that 1096, these are all the random numbers, students, and what we have to do is basically take out a sample here. The number of the first two members in the sample are 109 and 643. Follow very carefully. Sir, the numbers of the first two members, we need to follow very carefully here, students. The numbers of the first two members in the sample are 109 and 643. We have to find the numbers on the next three members in the sample. So this is completely done based on the randoming. So we have to be clear here and construct here. We have to find the numbers of the three members in the sample. Clearly understand how they are finding out the numbers, students. 1096 and 4357. So you can clearly see that the first number is coming from here, students. Follow carefully. 109, that is 109, it's coming here, and the other number is coming 643. So that's how they are making it 643. That's how they are making it. Okay, so what you can do is basically you can make the three numbers in the next term by saying that it will be 573. So one of your answer can be, students, 573. One of your answer can be 573, students. Your next answer can be 650 as well, 650, and your next answer can be 650 as well, and then 650 and then 431 as well you can choose. Okay, so 573, 650, 431, or you can say 043 as well. Okay, and you can choose any of these numbers, like you can choose 650, 431. Make sure you just have to give three answers. Okay, what we carefully need to understand here, students, what is the most important thing, students, here, that your number should be coming from 1 till 654 only. Okay, your number should be coming from 1 till 654 only. So if any student is giving the answer, if any student gives the answer as 765, it will be rejected, and this will be not possible. Okay, so this will be not possible, and this will be rejected, and you will lose 1 mark here. So you have to give any three options from this. Make sure don't write 4 answers. I have just given for understanding purpose that these are my 3 numbers which are lying in the solution. 650 is also possible, 573 is also possible, and 431 is also possible as well. Okay, so hope everyone gets this. This is one of the easy, simple questions on this chapter, sampling and estimation, from May, June 2017, which we have done, and hope the students got this very clearly. I'll repeat my point. You have to be very careful that your number should be between 1 till 654. Any number outside this will be rejected, and you will not be awarded the marks. Okay, students? So this is one of the concept number 1 for the random number tables as well. Let's look at another question as well, which we have of May, June 2019. It's one of the recent papers that we have as well, students. So let's talk about this as well. Again, this is one of the recent question. And again, this talks about the concept number one that I was saying. Okay, so this is also concept number one, that's all they're talking about. So let's talk about concept number one. Again, randomly using numbers and using the probability. So again, it's talking about the sampling and the random thing here. The random sample, how do you choose the random sample in the sampling chapter of statistics 2? Okay, so let's have a look at this question as well, sir. It will be from May, June 2019, paper 7, variant 3. This is one of the recent papers as well, sir, we can say. So here we go. The question says that there is Lewis has to choose one person at random. So Lewis has to choose one person at random from the 4 people, that is A, B, C, D. Okay, so Lewis has to choose one person from random from 4 people A, B, C, D. So sir, we can write down this information that we have A, we have B, we have C, and we have D, students. And he throws a basically, so he is throwing a dice as well. He throws a fair 6-sided die. If the score is 1, he will choose A. If the score is 2, he will choose B. So let's write it down, this probability and this understanding. So we can clearly say here that, sir, if the score is 1, so we are going to get the person A, okay? Students, if the score is 1, we are going to get person A on the board. If the score is 2, person B will come. If the score is 3, I think the person C will come. Okay, let's read the complete question carefully, because there is one of the underlying facts here. If the score is 3, he will choose the person C. And very important, if the score is 4 or more, he will choose D. Okay, so if the score is 4 or more means that if the score is 4 or 5 or 6, he will choose the person D. So that is the question here. Now coming to the question understanding, we have to explain why the choice made by this method is not random. Why this is not a random, sir? Because there are biases coming in this, students. There are biases coming in this, because probability of the having the D, if the score is 4 or more, so that D, there is the bias that they basically, you can write down that D is more likely to be chosen. Okay, because he have more possible outcomes. There are biases coming in this, because D have more probability, D have more chances of coming because of the probability. Yeah, if the dice is giving 4, or sir, is the dice is giving 5, if the dice is giving 6, the person will choose D only. So D is more likely to come, and that is why we can say D is more likely to be chosen, because of the increased probability. Okay, getting it? So you can write down like this: the probability of D is greater than the probability of A and the probability of B or C. Okay, so we can write it down that the probability of D is greater than probability of A, or like this as well, because all of the 3 probabilities are same, while probability of D is more than the other 3. Okay, so that is what we need to understand, students. This is going to be our answer here, sir. You can write down, you have to explain, so just one liner you can give for 1 mark. Also, these are 1 mark questions, students, that D is more likely to be chosen because of that's why this method is not random, because there are biases. Okay, so this is a bias, there is a bias here, that probability in favor of D, the probability is in favor of D. Now the next thing is that how we can restrict this, how we can correct this. Okay, the next thing is they will be asking that how you can correct this, students. So we have to describe how Lewis, the person, could use a single throw of the die to make a random choice. So how is it possible to make a random choice, students? So what are the possible options of making a random choice is basically you limit the D. Okay, because A, B, C are correct. Okay, you can write it down like this, that sir, A, B and C are correct. A, B, C are correct, that like if it comes on 1, it is A. If it comes on B, it is 2. If it comes on C, if the dice shows 3, it will be ordered to person C. So you can limit the person D to of choosing it to 4. Okay, so what you can do is basically the first thing you can say is like the answer can be, you can reject the scores of 5 and 6. Okay, so sir, we can basically reject the scores of 5 and 6. Okay, students, so we can reject the scores of 5 and 6. Hope everyone get this, that we can reject the scores of 5 and 6, as well as we can we can choose only D when the score is 4. You can write down this as well. Choose D only when the die shows 4. Okay, so you choose D only when the die is 4. That is how you can make it random. Okay, so that will how everyone will get an equal chance of being selected. Every person out of the 4 people, they all will have an equal chance of being getting selected. Okay, so choose D only when the dice is showing 4. Okay, so that is another important thing, another important concept here that we discuss. And then for the last 2 marks of this question, again students, on another day we have saying that Lewis has to choose 2 people at random from the same 4 people. So now Lewis has to choose 2 people now. So Lewis has to choose 2 people at random from the same 4 people, that is A, B, C, and D. Now Lewis does not have to choose one person, he have to choose 2 people. So the question is changing. The first part of the question was that Lewis has to choose one person. Now he has the option to choose from same 4 people from A, B, C, and D. So what is going to happen, sir? It will be simple. We have to list the possible choices first of 2 people. So let's first write down the possible choices of 2 people. So what we can choose is basically, sir, A, B, right? We can choose A, B, 2 people, or we can choose AC, we can choose AD. Okay, then we can choose BC as well, we can choose BD as well, and we can choose CD as well. These are the basically possible combinations, students. Sir, these are the basically possible choices of the 2 people that Lewis have, which he can choose from AB, AC, AD. So these are the 6 possible choices of 2 people, and hence then we have to describe. The next part of the question is you have to hence describe how Lewis could use a single throw of the die to make this random choice. We have to describe how Lewis could use a single throw of the die to make this random choice. So it's very simple, because the dice have 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can allocate them, that if the dice comes 1, so for if the dice comes 1, it will be AB. If the dice comes 2, it will be AC. If the dice comes 3, it will be AD, sir. If the dice comes 4, it will be BC. This will make it random as well, sir. This will make the choice random. And if the dice shows CD, if the dice shows 6, then the CD person will be chosen. Okay, so that is how they can do it on the random way, that if the dice shows 4, he will be selecting, Lewis will be selecting the BC person. If the dice shows 5, sir, the Lewis will select BD person, and that's how it will go, sir. Okay, whatever the number is coming, there is a random two people assigned to it. This is the random way of selecting people. This is a random way of selecting people. So hope everyone got the concept. Make sure to understand, practice, and attempt some couple of more questions like this. So I'll share one of the questions with you, which you can answer in the comment section, and everyone can we can check this as well for everyone as well later on in the comment section. Okay, so I would expect everyone to attempt a question like this one. Okay, so you can attempt October November 16. Make sure take a screenshot and attempt question number 10 from October November 2016. It's almost a similar type of question, and answer in the comment section will help out whoever is correct or wrong in that. Okay, thank you, and we'll continue in the next lecture, concept number 2.